BB851, turn right heading 180. 14 Papa, turn right 245, report localizer established 27.
The coverage continues here on the channel following the outbreak of COVID-19 and the unprecedented impact it's having on the aviation industry. As always, I appreciate the support shown across the videos. Today's coverage is on another big player in the British aviation sector, that being Virgin Atlantic. The airline is indeed going to be cutting 80% of its total flights, and therefore will see 75% of its total fleet grounded by month's end, with that percentage going up a further 10% to 85% in the month of April, a catastrophic change in operations for the airline. Not only does it come following the COVID-19 outbreak, but the multiple governments issuing travel bans and the concerning negative net bookings that the airline is seeing. Across the board, airlines are seeing more cancelled bookings than actual future bookings, and this includes Virgin Atlantic. On top of the various schedule changes, Virgin Atlantic also announced the permanent closure of its London Heathrow to Newark service. At the moment, this is the only service on the Virgin Atlantic network that has indeed been cut. However, it does see me move on to the next topic of discussion, which is indeed Virgin Atlantic's request to employees. They've asked employees to take an 8-week leave following various groundings and drop in demand. Now, these 8 weeks are to be taken over the next 3 months, meaning roughly you'll have to take 2 of the next 3 months off, and they will indeed be unpaid. Virgin Atlantic hopes that through doing this, they'll be able to further reduce costs in a time that's tricky for the majority of airlines, with salaries and huge expenses to put near on empty planes in the sky, like, as I mentioned, Virgin Atlantic was quoted to be doing roughly a week ago. When taking a look at the Virgin Atlantic fleet, they currently fly a variety of types, including the Airbus A330, Airbus A350, Boeing 747 and the Boeing 787. If I made this video around a week ago roughly, the Airbus A340 would have been also included in that fleet overview. However, they accelerated the retirement of the type following demand drop-offs and more. Therefore, their entire fleet can be classed as wide bodies, if you will, as they operate all international services at the moment. The reduction will also therefore see very few aircraft flying and minimal routes operating. The airline said in a statement, owing to restrictions to international travel, the airline is reducing services to focus on core routes, depending on customer demand. This will be subject to constant review as the situation evolves. It further discussed how they were wanting to make these drastic changes to ensure all their cash is preserved, and they can control and also safeguard the future of the airline, so if and when all this blows over, they can get back into operating a regular network that will see them fly long haul into the future rather than collapse now, which is always a risk given the circumstances. What are your thoughts on Virgin Atlantic saying to its employees to take 8 weeks unpaid leave? What about them cutting capacity by a whopping 85% by April, and therefore effectively grounding the majority of their fleet? Let me know down below in the comments or over across on Twitter. And as always, thank you very much for the continued support. I look forward to seeing you all in a few hours for the next video of the day.